A couple months ago, someone connected me to this amazing powerhouse of a man who started a 501(c)(3) that is passionate and specifically geared towards getting real health education in our schools. Of course, in this conversation, we're just pouring oil on each other's fires and just getting fired up because you know me, I have a homeschool high school health course. Say that 10 times fast. Homeschool high school health course. Or Lord have mercy. Every time I say it, I feel like I'm just going to go blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so he was getting really, really excited when I was sharing with him about my course, how it works, the mission behind it. And he was like, okay, now you need to get this class into all of the schools across America. And I want to help you do that. And I was like, except it's not designed yet for that. And he's like, well, let's get a plan in place. So the next step, which I've been working on, is getting a homeschool self-paced course. And that should be launched hopefully by the end of October. I keep saying end of this month, but oh my goodness, writing something. I've poured in over 1,000 hours now into this health course, you guys. Like it is loaded and packed and it is freaking amazing. But it's a lot of work. He was like, okay, the next step then is going to be to design the course in such a way to get it into all the schools. So public schools and private schools. Technically, the self-paced class, any student or any person for that matter can take that class. It's not that big of a deal. But yes, that would be the next step. And then he's like, okay, and then the next step is going to be you need to design a middle school class because we need to reach them really young. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go after the middle schoolers. And then he was like, okay, then we need to go after elementary school. I mean, we're laying out a good couple year plan here of me writing and publishing and launching different courses to get really good, solid, amazing health education in all the schools and all the ages across America. But as soon as he said elementary school kids, I was like, wait a minute. I don't have to do that because I know someone who already has. You guys, last year after I graduated from school and got plugged into the online practitioner network, I had the amazing privilege of meeting Shari Gilford. She is also an NTP just like me. She also has a history of international career just like me. She has a passion to teach kids in a practical, applicable, just pour the fire on a way of health and nutrition and eating right. And her journey is just amazing. She is an amazing person. It has been an honor and a privilege to get to know her this past year, but she's already doing it, guys. If you need an elementary class, I think it's for like 5 to 11-year-olds, and it's called Super Fuel for Super Kids. I'll put the links in everything, but basically, I had to get her on this podcast because she's precious. She's absolutely precious. She has an amazing story with her kidneys. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to hear it. And all the tips and tricks that she's going to give you parents. So be inspired, be encouraged today. Enjoy this amazing episode and meet my friend, Shari Gilford.
I don't put Jesus anywhere in anything that I do because I want it to be open for everybody and not turn
Yeah.
anyone away. But yes, you know that I come from that background. So
Yeah, I know. I think we have that same directive from the Lord where like our
mhm,
business, like our courses and everything, the Lord just wants everyone to be healthy and
yes,
everyone understand how to get healthy
mm,
and for it to not be polarizing or a barrier, I guess. I
yes,
don't know. I'm not sure what his thinking is on that. I'm not going to assume what God thinks,
right.
but yeah. But yeah, so having the podcast to finally talk about him is like, really? Because my kids don't get it in the class and my clients don't get it unless they initiate the conversation. And
Right.
so, yeah,
Yeah, I had a client who was, and it was so much fun working with him because he really was a strong believer. And so that was really fun.
it makes a big difference.
It
I
does.
love working with a client too who initiates that faith conversation just so you can pray with
Mhm.
them. It just sets a whole different like level and tone of care and yeah,
Yes. Yep.
it's
Yep.
fun.
I have a frog today, so I hope that's not an issue.
Nah, just as long as he doesn't burp, I think we'll be okay. Just kidding.
I don't think he'll do that. I don't usually burp, but
No, I'm just kidding.
I went to a friend's house last night and we ate some things that I don't normally eat, and so I've been like,
Oh, I get it. I do that knowing I'm not gonna feel well, but sometimes you just want the piece of cake.
Yeah,
So
she made gluten-free, dairy-free brownies, and oh my goodness, they were to die for.
were they really? That's hard to do, a gluten-free, dairy-free brownie that's really good.
It was
That's
amazing.
that's quite the accomplishment.
It was way sweeter than I usually eat anything, so I'm like, "Oh, yeah, the sugar wasn't good."
Bless. Yeah, that's true, they're not sugar-free.
No.
Um, yeah. So, okay, do you mind
Yeah, we can start.
letting my listeners know a little bit about you and your background and who you are? Do you mind introducing yourself to us?
Sure. So I'm Shari Gilford, and I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner, and I love to help people, just get their health back in order. I think a lot of us, many times as we age, I just turned 60. As we age, we realize that maybe some of the things we did when we were younger didn't support our bodies. So
Mm,
I really love helping people, get back to health and especially kids. My mother was an amazing mother. She fed me organic vegetables from her organic garden,
oh my goodness.
and we didn't have much sugar in the house. She wouldn't buy sugary cereals. We made cookies once in a while as a treat, but she was and she didn't cook fancy meals. She would just put a roast in the oven and steam some vegetables. It's not like she did a lot of fancy cooking,
Now to
but
a lot of people, that's fancy cooking right there.
well, it's true. Yes. But, no sauces, no
Right.
special anything. She was just a very simplistic cook because she didn't like to cook. But I grew up that way, and I really believe that that set a foundation for me in my life of health.
Mhm.
Right now, I'm 60. I have no major ailments of any kind. I do have a kidney transplant, but that's my only medical issue. I don't take any other medications for, heart disease or cholesterol or anything like that. I exercise, I'm healthy. So I haven't caught a cold or been sick in probably about 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm just so grateful that my mother raised me in a way that gave me health now. And I really want that to be the case for so many people, because I think we've just run off the rails in our country and people don't know, what's healthy food anymore. And so
Um,
that's my passion.
I love it. I love it. That's amazing that you had a mom that just ingrained that to you in your foundational period of life. Like,
Yes.
where did you grow up?
I grew up in New York State in a small little town in upstate New York, not in New York City, and just a very small town. I went to a small town school. I think there were maybe 300 people in my graduating class. And, so we didn't live on a farm. We lived in a little community. We had a nice big backyard, but nothing major. But we grew blueberries and currants, and my mom had this huge garden. I mean, she had tons and tons of space for her garden. And I would just roam in the garden and eat vegetables to my heart's content. And I loved vegetables, I mean, what kid can say that now?
Right?
But
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
And I'm growing a garden right now too. I just love growing gardens. My mom kind of helped me. When I was age 5, she had me counting worms to practice my counting
Oh my goodness, counting worms.
to put in her compost pile.
Well, that's one way to do it. That's one way to teach math with that's a first I've ever heard. That's so fun. Did
Yes.
you mind counting the worms or was
No,
it gross?
I had fun. I was only 5 years old.
I think even as a 5-year-old, I would have been like, "Nope."
Well, my dad used them for fishing too, so I was used to, like,
Mm,
picking them up for that, and, I don't know. I was out in the garden. I liked it. I had fun. I was with my
that's
mom.
that's so awesome.
And by the way, she's at now 95 years old, and she's still healthy. She still has her mind. She just recovered from a fall where she fractured her knee and her ankle. She's now walking again and she's living independently. So that is what I think is the result of a good diet.
Oh, she's 95. Wow, and she's up and moving again. That's
Yep.
incredible.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Everyone says she's so amazing. Everyone who meets her, they're like amazed.
So if there's ever a reason to start a garden and start eating out of your backyard. It's so that you can be thriving at 95. That's really cool.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so, you grew up that way, so you decided is that why you chose to become an NTP? What was it that brought you to the NTA and go to school and choose this as a career path? Is this something you've always done, or is this something new for you?
It was somewhat new, although I've always had a desire to understand nutrition. I think maybe because my mom raised me that way, I was even when I was in college and a young adult, I was inviting my friends over for home cooked food. And they were all like, "Wow, this is great."
Yeah.
I just liked cooking. I liked creating food and serving delicious food. And then I've actually, even back then, I was helping people with their own diets. And they're like, "Oh, how can I eat healthier?" And I didn't know a lot back then, but I knew enough to at least kind of guide them the right way. So it's always been a passion of mine. And then my husband and I moved overseas for a short time to South Asia. And I saw that the people there were just not healthy at all. They were
Yeah.
having all kinds of stomach issues and pain and mental fog and all kinds of ailments. And I realized that a lot of it was how they were eating because in these countries they eat tons and tons of rice and carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates, not a lot of vegetables, not even a lot of meat, and they're not getting enough nutrition. So that was like a passion of mine. I thought, oh, I would love to like start teaching nutrition and have it spread through the communities and like train some community leaders to actually teach it in their language. So I was really excited about that. Well, so I was saying, "Oh, what can I do to really get more education, like real education in this area of nutrition?" And so that's when I went online and was looking at different courses and opportunities. And I found the Nutritional Therapy Association and I was like, "Oh, this it fits me perfectly." And they were just going online at the time. They didn't have an online course before that. They had just started an online course and I thought, "Oh, I can do it from where I am overseas." So I signed up for it and then we left and came back to the United States like a month after I signed up for it because our visas were expiring, so we had to come back. Well, then COVID hit and we couldn't go back
Okay.
to our country. So I decided, okay, I really had a passion for kids to learn about nutrition. I love working with kids. I just enjoy teaching kids. And I thought, okay, maybe I should just create something for kids in this country because when we came back, we'd been overseas for 5 years. I was shocked at how many people I saw who were overweight. When we'd left, it didn't seem that bad of an epidemic. When we came back, I just saw overweight people everywhere. I'm like, what has happened?
Yeah,
What?
I totally been there. It's amazing. Like when you leave the States, you don't realize it when you're living. It's kind of like you don't see the forest for the trees. You leave, you get immersed in a whole nother culture. Your senses are overwhelmed by completely different sights and smells and things and norms. And then you come back and it just kind of smacks you in the face. And on like walking in the airport and seeing the obesity, like
Mhm.
it's reverse culture shock is what it is.
Yes,
And that's what we've had to process multiple times leaving and coming back is that reverse culture shock moment of like, oh my goodness, but you do you see things in the States with a completely different lens, and it's not all bad. Like some of it's like really great, like I'm so
mhm.
grateful to be American, but at the same time it's like,
Yes,
oh wow, they don't we got some work to do too at the
yes.
same time. Totally get that.
Yeah, and so, as I went through nutritional therapy education, I realized, oh, I have tools that I can give people to help them. And, I love helping people. And so, my first thought was, okay, I'm going to create a course because, with kids, like, I was raised before they ever go to school, they're already learning habits at home
Hmm.
about how to eat. And then once they get to school, they have influence from their peers. But it really starts from age baby on
Yeah.
of what are we feeding our kids at a young age. and, setting them up maybe for a difficult life where they're always trying to diet or trying to lose weight or trying to, whatever. And I was just so sad about that. I'm like, I had such an amazing upbringing. I want to give that to families. So, like I said, when I came back, I was just shocked at how unhealthy people were. I'm like, what is going on here? I want to be a voice for health. And I believe every person deserves good health. I believe our bodies are meant to be healthy. We're not meant to be sick. So, and I'm living proof of that. Even with a kidney transplant, I am like healthier than a lot of my friends. It's really a passion of mine.
So you got to experience life a little bit in South Asia. Do you have any fun stories that you would like to share about your time there?
So many interesting things. But so one time we went to visit the Taj Mahal because that's what everyone does when we're traveling, right? So we went to visit the Taj Mahal and we had to get a train. We got a taxi driver to take us to the train station and it was a festival day. There was traffic a mile long everywhere. We could not get to the train station. And so we're like, oh no, it's getting time for our train to leave. Finally, the taxi driver was able to get a parking spot. And my husband and we just started running and running and running and running. We were the last people on the train. And like 2 seconds, I kid you not, 2 seconds after we got on the train, it left the station.
Oh my goodness.
I was like so exhausted and stressed and oh,
Oh.
so anyway, that was an interesting experience.
What was that train like?
It was nice. I mean, we got a good car, I mean,
Good.
there's cars where people just jam on, but we
Mhm.
got a nice car, and so, it was fine. They had chairs, they call them a chair car, so we were able to ride in a seat, and it was air
That's nice.
conditioned, so, yeah, it was very nice.
Ooh, very fancy. Fancy, darling. Oh, you never know what you're gonna get sometimes. Kind of initiate any changes over there and help with nutrition, or did that really start after coming home?
Well, no, a little bit because already was reading and learning about nutrition. In fact, I took a different nutrition course while I was still there, and that was about how to help children with autism and ADHD with dietary changes, different diets. It was like a 12-month course. I took that all online. I already had some knowledge of, how to teach nutrition, so I did. There was some children that I was involved with and some families, and so I taught them about nutrition and, just kinda did a simple teaching. I had a translator. So even then, I was already trying to, you know, help them understand about nutrition because they don't get any education in the schools about that, and they just eat what everyone else eats. So that was really fun. I put together all this and I showed them the different things that they could eat based
Uh-huh.
on their cultural traditions, based on what's available in the market, which is very different from what's available here. I had to kind of modify things a bit according to their own culture, which is very fun for me. I like to see, okay, how can I work within what they're already doing and
Yeah.
already eating? So that was kind of fun. And I was going to develop a whole course just for that to help that culture in within the culture to eat healthier even with their normal foods that are available. But, then I was here and it didn't quite work out.
Well, I'm so glad you were able to help people while you were there, while you had the opportunity. That
Yes.
must have really solidified a lot of passion within you to keep it
Mhm.
going since coming home. That's really, really cool. You have created, from my understanding, a course for kids here in the States. Is it just for kids in the States, or can anybody around the globe do it that speaks English?
Anyone could do it, but it's really culturally more for Americans.
Okay.
Maybe Canadians would be able to, do it, but there's a lot of funny things, and I put in a lot of cute videos and clips of cartoons, and I talk about our culture. It's kind of more culturally appropriate for this culture. Like I could never do it in South Asia. I would have to totally revamp the whole thing because kids there are very different than kids
Mhm.
here. It's also kind of geared for the whole family because That's just a passion of mine. I mean, yeah, kids might learn nutrition in school, but if they go home and there's no changes in their household, it's not going to stick. So my heart is, yes, it's geared towards kids. The videos are funny and fun, and I have lots of activities, but it's really, I want the whole family to watch it together to support their kids and learn also along with their kids.
So tell me a little bit about your course then.
So it's called Super Fuel for Super Kids. It's for ages 5 to 11 approximately. I mean, it depends on how old your older kid is, whether they'll roll their eyes or not.
Yeah, I like to say that starts at 11, but I think it starts a lot earlier.
So, but anyway, it's definitely for ages 5 to 7 or 8. Basically what it is, it's 5 different modules and each module has different lessons in it. So they're all video lessons, but then after they watch the video, they get points, so they can earn points for watching the video and for doing the activities. Very interactive, very hands-on. They do experiments, they do challenges, they do just fun games and things like that. It's really a whole hands-on activity, and I actually even send them an activity packet, which includes a big poster map that they put on the wall where they'll put, so they learn 12 different habits, and as they're going along, they put the habits on the signposts, and then there's a path with circles, and they can put their circles of food that they're learning about on the path, and then eventually at the end, they can use those foods to create a meal plan for the next day because they have little places to put breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks.
Oh, wow.
So they get all of that plus a couple of other fun things like a 1-minute timer for one of the habits and some sponges for one of the activities and lots of handouts and worksheets and straws and just
The
it's
goodies.
a goodie bag. It's fun.
What is your favorite thing, your favorite lesson in the whole course to teach?
It's from Zippy to Zapped is the name of the lesson, and it's all about sugar in our food.
Oh my goodness. Okay, talk about that for a minute.
I love talking about sugar in our food. So
Why do you love talking about sugar and food?
yeah, well, because I believe sugar is a big culprit of what's happening with kids. It's hijacking their brains, it's hijacking their health, and we eat way too much of it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
recently, the American Heart Association and the American Pediatric Association, they both, there was studies done, and now they're recommending 0 sugar for children under 2 and only 6 teaspoons or 24 grams of sugar for kids up to age 18.
Are you serious? They've done that? I didn't
Yes.
know that.
It was Dr. Robert Lustig who's
Yeah.
he figured out that high fructose corn syrup what was driving obesity. He was able to lobby for that and get into these organizations and really say, "Look, you've gotta do something." So, finally, they did. They changed the rules. I don't know how many people know about it,
No?
but, yeah, so it's amazing. And so, I just wanna tell you something interesting here.
Yeah.
So so they're saying 24 grams of sugar is the limit for kids under age 18. Do you know how much sugar and that, by the way, that's 6 teaspoons. 6 teaspoons is not a lot of sugar, but it looks like a lot if you
It
just put
looks
it in a
like a
bowl.
lot. Yes.
So, do you know how much a large chocolate milkshake is at McDonald's?
Oh my goodness. You're testing me and my nutritional therapy skills. Um, I wanna say between 30 and 40 grams of sugar.
Try 106 grams of sugar.
Wow, I really undershot that. Well, I'm a failure as a nutritional therapist right there. This is why I don't memorize facts and I look them up.
Right. Well, I looked them up too, so I'm cheating right now. I'm looking
Oh
at it,
my
but
god! Say that again, how many grams of sugar in a McDonald's milkshake?
a large is 106 grams of sugar, which is 26 teaspoons of sugar or a half of a cup. So you're drinking a half a cup of sugar all in one serving of a large shake. It's crazy.
My goodness.
And when we think about even what schools serve, they serve kids like sugared cereal, chocolate milk, which one half pint of chocolate milk has 25 grams of sugar in it. So that's That's the sugar allotment for the day. And we wonder why kids are going crazy in school. They're getting way too much sugar.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so when I was a school bus driver, uh I would have a little bit of a break. I would re drop my kids off at a intermediate school, 5th and 6th grade school, and then I'd have like a 15-minute break before I'd have to do my elementary run. And so, of course, I would use that time to go use the bathroom. And I would quick run in the back door of the school, which kind of ran behind the cafeteria, and the bathrooms were past the cafeteria, but I would pass all the kids that were basically feeding through the cafeteria line for breakfast in the mornings, and I would see them grab their quick chocolate milks and their bags of they'd get a baggie of food for breakfast, and then they'd take it into their, first class to eat. And my stomach would always turn. It got to the point where I would have to physically force myself not to look at what the kids were being given to eat, because it was one of those half pint things of chocolate milk or strawberry milk or regular milk, and then they would get donuts and Pop Tarts,
Oh, wow.
and every once in a while I would see a banana or an apple. But it was always a pastry, one of those Danishes things, like cereal, like sugar cereals, and it would just be
Hmm.
like, no wonder these kids all have behavioral issues
Yes.
and struggle with bullying and attitude problems and crashing and anxiety. And my goodness, it was just like, yeah, it took everything within me to not fume every single yeah, I had to, for my own sanity and, mental health, I had to look
Yeah.
away what the kids were eating.
It's so sad. It is
It was
so
like
sad. It's
I
so
just
sad.
wanted to pop it out of their hands and then have words with the school, like, "Come on now." Like, ugh, anyway. So,
The
yeah.
problem is that it was government funded and
Yes.
they have to give kids milk, and the only way kids can will drink milk is to put sugar in it. It's like the whole system is crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild. So, what do you think of kids, though, substituting sugar for, like, sugar substitutes
Mm.
and that kinda thing? Is that something that
Nope,
no.
those are just as bad or maybe worse. They do very terrible things to our whole bodies, our digestion. No, I do not recommend sugar substitutes. It just actually, I say if you're going to eat anything, eat real sugar. Don't eat high fructose corn syrup. Don't eat sugar substitutes. Actually, eat real sugar because at least we know what that is,
So
right?
when you say real sugar, is that like
White
the
sugar.
white sugar, pure cane sugar? Okay.
I mean, obviously, there's many kinds of sugar now that are available. Honey is a great option. Even maple syrup is a good option. These are natural
Real maple
sugars,
syrup, none of that
right?
fructose corn syrup
No,
sugar,
right.
maple syrup, yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, but still, I think it should be limited very
Mm.
drastically. But if you're going to eat sugar, let's at least eat the real stuff,
Right?
which
Yeah,
our bodies at least know a little bit better how to handle,
gotta handle it.
and
Mhm,
moderation is key. If
mhm,
you're going to have a big milkshake one day, don't eat any more sugar the rest of the week. And one of my favorite lessons also, or experiments that I
mhm.
have the kids do, because again, we're talking about breakfast and fueling up, which is so important for our bodies in the morning. Otherwise, we get on that blood sugar roller coaster. So I have them do an experiment. I have them eat a protein filled breakfast for 3 days in a row, so no sugar at all, no juices, no sugar, nothing like that. So they might eat an egg, they might eat some celery with peanut butter or some nuts, or they can eat different things, but no sugar for breakfast. Maybe a piece of fruit and that's it. But they have to have protein also. So they do that for 3 days. And then the experiment is on the fourth day, they don't eat any protein for breakfast. They just eat sugar food. So they might have
Oh my
pancakes with
goodness, your
syrup
experiment involves them eating sugar for breakfast.
one day just to see how they feel. So
Like,
they're gonna check. So I have a little battery and they have to check how they're feeling throughout the day with the little battery. And, do they feel how did they feel when they ate the protein breakfast for 3 days? Now, how do they feel when they eat the full sugar breakfast, which could include orange juice and muffins and donuts and pancakes and, whatever they want, and to see how do they feel. So that's one of the experiments in my course.
I love that. I think I learned with my kids, I have to let them eat things sometimes and just not freak out about it, and then just let them endure the consequences, and then afterwards be like, "Okay, how does that make you feel? Why do you think that you're feeling this way? Let's, tie it back. What did you eat?" Could it be that it's such
Mhm,
a good, powerful it's been for my kids anyway, a
mhm.
very powerful, um, education,
Yeah.
just to experience it. Not every teacher would, I think, be like, "You need to eat sugar for breakfast." It's such a cool experiment.
So my whole course has fun stuff like that in it that they do themselves, so they're the ones learning, they're the ones experiencing it. They can
Mhm,
make their own judgments, and kids are smart, kids will realize, "Oh, I don't feel so good when I eat all this sugar. I
mhm.
I can choose to eat sugar, but then I know what the consequences are gonna be." So it's their choice then, instead of just, not really understanding that that's a consequence.
So that kind of brings me to the question. You talked about how it's really for the whole family unit. So, what kind of parental advice and guidance do you like to give parents as they begin a journey of trying to get a family on a healthy track?
So in the beginning, I have them fill out a promise or a pledge, whatever they wanna call it, where they actually sit down as a family and they say, for these 6 weeks, my course is 6 weeks, how do we wanna support each other? So if somebody decides to, say, give up eating sugar cereal for breakfast, okay, let's not, eat it in front of them if you're not giving it up, or parents, when you're going grocery shopping, take your kids with you and let them pick out some vegetables to try. In the beginning, I actually made a video for the parents saying, your kids are watching you. And, we all learn from the relatives around us, the family around us, the people we grow up with. That's where we learn our eating habits from.
Mhm.
So I really encourage the parents to think about their own habits and support their child in the changes their child wants to make, because the child needs the support from the parents, especially at that young age, because the parents are calling all the shots when the kid is 5 and 6 and 7 and before that. So I really believe it's important, so all the activities are things that the parents can get involved with. So
Okay.
like for one of the activities, I have them making sauerkraut because it's so easy to make.
Is it really? I've never
Yeah.
made it.
Oh, it's so easy. So the parents might have to chop up the cabbage if the child is young, but then the child can actually knead it, knead the salt into it, and it's a fun thing for them to do. But, they need the parents' involvement. Or, like another activity is just going to the store and looking at ingredient labels if they can read. So the parent would help them and look at the
Mhm.
ingredient labels also with them, and then they might have to find a different food. Like, say, if they're buying spaghetti sauce that has tons of sugar, maybe they'll change what spaghetti sauce they buy. I want to involve the parents because then the child feels that support and they'll be more quick to adopt those new habits.
I know a lot of parents just don't even know where to begin and just don't even know where to start and don't even understand how to read food labels themselves. This is an opportunity not just for the kids, even though it's created for them, but parents can really benefit from this and they're supported through that.
Make it simple with all the habits. So there's 12 habits. And, I talk about habits right from the beginning.
Mhm.
Is how do you incorporate a habit? You have to do it again and again and again. So, so one of my habits, for instance, is power up with protein. That's the breakfast one. So I have cute little names for all the habits. And so they do that. They do that for 3 days in a row and they have to check it off and then they get points if they've done it. But the whole family gets to do it together. So my checkoff chart has like 5 lines where everyone in the family checks off that they did the activity.
Oh, what is a topic right now kind of in that space of health and working with kids and families? Is there anything in particular other than sugar that you're pretty passionate about right now?
I think one of the things is helping people understand the importance of fats in our diet,
Hmm.
because I think that's an area that a lot of people are confused. They think eating fat will make them fat.
Yeah, that's what we were raised on, right?
Yes. Yes, and it's unfortunately it's not true. And there's many, many, many new studies showing that it's not true, and even saturated fat, and people are so afraid of those things. And yet, they're so helpful for our cells, for our hormones, for satiation, so our blood sugar doesn't rise and fall. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish are so good for kids' brains. In
Mhm.
fact, their brains are so quickly developing between the ages of baby, infant up to age 6 that they need extra fish, extra omega-3s to make all those brain circuits develop correctly. And parents don't know that. Parents don't even like fish. So they're not feeding fish to their kids. And, that's the main fat that our brains use and that helps the brain to develop. So that's a big, big passion of mine, is to help re-educate people on the importance of healthy fats in our diet.
Wow. Now, you have had a kidney transplant, so you're pretty familiar with kidney health, I assume.
Yes.
When it comes to your kidneys, like, I've heard that too much fat or protein can kind of bomb them out. Is that true or not?
The fat is not true. Fat is fine for your kidneys. Protein should only be limited if you are in a late stage of kidney disease, because yes, it can put a burden on the kidney. The three leading causes of people's kidneys failing are diabetes, high blood pressure, and inflammation, long-term inflammation, along with some medications can cause kidney failure and things like that. But if people can get well from diabetes, which means they're controlling their blood sugar, which is done by eating more fats,
Mm,
partially. That's part of the answer. Then they can avoid their kidneys declining in their health. So I believe protein is very, very important in our bodies. It builds our muscles, it fuels our brains, it provides satiation. It has lots of B vitamins. Protein, especially animal protein, is very important. So, for people who have decreased kidney function, I would say yes, limit your protein a little bit. Don't eat like two steaks or something. Be moderate. But I believe that it's still helpful to eat protein unless your kidneys have pretty much failed, which
pretty
you would know. The thing with kidney disease, it's a silent disease. Most people don't even know they have it until they get a blood test that shows that they have it, or their kidney has declined so much that they finally have symptoms. But your kidney has to decline a lot before you get any symptoms at all. So I always like to encourage people to just make sure they don't have diabetes or prediabetes. So healthy eating is the antidote for that. High blood pressure, same thing. Healthy eating is the antidote for that. And inflammation, healthy eating is the antidote for that. So if somebody is eating a whole foods, nutritious diet,
much.
their kidneys should be really functional, unless maybe they have a hereditary disease that is a different thing. But even so there's a kidney disease called polycystic kidney disease, which
Mhm.
many people are being diagnosed with. It's a hereditary disease, and there's a lot of cysts that form on your kidneys. There's now research showing that a ketogenic diet, which is a high fat, medium protein diet, helps to slow and even reverse the progression of polycystic kidney disease. They've never had anything, no medication, nothing has ever been able to do that. And research
What?
now, it's out of University of California in Santa Barbara. There is now studies going on that show that the ketogenic diet can reverse polycystic kidney disease.
That
A lot of hope now for people who have been diagnosed with, so there's 5 stages of kidney disease. Stage 1 and 2 are you don't even notice that you have kidney disease and no restrictions. Stage 3 is starting to be a little bit dicey. You might have some restrictions in your diet. Stage 4 and stage 5. Stage 5 is where somebody ends up on dialysis or needs a transplant. So
okay.
stage 4 is pretty restrictive with your diet because your kidneys really are not functioning well at all. Potassium can build up in your blood. Things can, you're not digesting protein as well or filtering it as well out of your kidneys. It's putting an extra burden. It's causing high blood pressure because there's scarring happening in the
Mm.
kidneys. So at that point, it's very difficult to come back from that, to reverse that function. But until you get to that point, you can reverse kidney disease. You can.
Seriously, really?
And
That's phenomenal.
that's exciting. It's exciting new research that's being done right now. So,
Absolutely. I love it when we prove the hope that our body's natural default is to heal if we give it the right support system. It really loves to heal itself.
yes,
And give it sometimes we need to get out of its way, and sometimes we just need to let it do its thing, and then sometimes we just need to help with the right nutrients and right
yes,
building blocks, right? That's
correct. Yes. Yeah,
sometimes we need to do both maybe. I don't
no,
know.
I know. Yeah. Well, I love that too, that our body, I mean, I was so amazed when we studied anatomy and
Mhm.
physiology in the nutritional therapy program
Loved
because
that. Yeah.
it's like our bodies have backup systems. Like,
Mhm.
it's so amazing and incredible how beautiful our bodies are made that, yes, they can heal themselves if, like you say, they're given the right food. I call it fuel, right? Super
Mhm.
fuel for super kids because it's fuel for our bodies, and our
Mhm.
bodies are so amazing. They can heal themselves with the right
Mhm.
nutrients, the right put the right things in, and your body will function correctly and it will heal itself. So, yeah, I just love that.
Stage 1 and 2 are pretty silent, so what are some signs or clues to kind of keep an eye on?
Well, there isn't any really when you're still in that stage of kidney disease. There are no symptoms.
Really?
So, yes, if someone is pre-diabetes or has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease or regular fatty liver disease or whatever, I mean, kids now are getting non-alcoholic
Mhm.
fatty liver disease, which is crazy. Kids are also being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
I know. It's maddening.
Yeah, I mean, even young kids.
Mhm.
So those are the things to look out for. And again, diet is key. Our food is key to reversing those things. I mean, a doctor might not tell you you can reverse your diabetes, but I've seen it happen many, many, many times. You can.
Yeah. Type 2, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, right. There's not really a lot of symptoms to show that you have kidney disease. In fact, some people go to their doctor and they're in stage 3 or even 4 kidney disease before they ever even realize that something is happening. I mean, if you're in stage 4, you might suddenly feel nauseous all the time and always be thirsty and there's and there's other symptoms like that, but you're like almost down the pike at that point. So
Wow.
really the only way to know if you have a decline in your kidney function is with a blood test. So it's been hard to get general practitioners to look at kidney disease markers. There's been a big push in our country to try and get that to be more regularly looked at. And especially if somebody has some kind of metabolic disorder or non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, then yes, kidney numbers should be being checked regularly.
Do you think that children, like, I'm thinking of parents listening, their annual physical checkup, the parents should be asking doctors because the rate and statistics are just
Mhm.
growing astronomically with and for younger and younger kids. Would you recommend pediatricians do annual blood work for kids or even urinalysis? Is kidney disease something that is only picked up by blood tests, or can you do it through urinalysis?
It's more a blood I mean, it's both,
Okay,
but
it's
it's
both.
mostly a blood test. If there's protein in your urine, then that indicates there's kidney disease, but then you really have to look at the blood
Blood
numbers,
test.
which are like
Okay.
creatinine, FR, which is glomerular filtration rate.
Mhm.
That's the big number that people look at. That's what determines your stage. So that should be above 90. If it's down like 75 or 60 or 50, then you better look at your kidney health.
And that's the EGFR. I know that
Mhm.
that is not standard or has not been standard
Mm,
in my history of doctors' annual blood work, so I have to request that one.
yes.
So with my clients, when I do a full blood panel, that's one that I include because, yeah, we need
Mhm.
to see what's going on in the whole body.
If they want to get this test, they just have to ask. Their doctor will probably do it, no
Yeah.
problem. They need to ask for the renal panel.
Yep. Renal, kidney,
Yeah,
renal.
yeah. So yeah, it's called
So
the renal
sad.
panel, and that'll get all of those numbers.
I think it was renal, liver. I'm trying to think. So my dad worked for a transplant surgeon
Cool.
So my dad actually assisted the doctor that did the very first successful liver transplant, and it
Oh,
was done
wow.
on pigs. So this was like back in the late 70s, early 80s when they were doing
Mm.
transplant research. And yeah, my dad did some work with kidneys as well. I was mostly, I think, liver and kidneys. So yeah, I always have like the liver and renal in my head,
Mhm, mhm.
working with the pigs.
Well, now they're doing xenotransplantation with some pig organs. They've tried heart,
Uh-huh.
they've tried a kidney. I think the woman with the kidney is still doing well,
Is
which
she really?
I think so. I'm not sure. I haven't checked up on it, but it's amazing.
Porcine,
Yeah.
parts, multiple parts. We're all gonna be, bionic
Yep. Yep.
people at one point in time, hopefully, if we eat well and we get it right. I have just, like, one more question to
Sure.
ask you. Um, Knowing everything that you know now and all that you've been through, if you go back to your 16-year-old self and tell her one thing, what would it be?
Hmm. I think I would say keep eating your vegetables. I'll tell you a quick story actually. So my mom, she raised me really well. So I went off to college and we had a great college. They had a wonderful buffet.
Where did you go to college?
It's called Houghton College. It's a little tiny Christian liberal arts college in New York State, Western New York State, very small. Anyway, but they had a wonderful food service. It was all fresh food. Even the eggs for breakfast were real eggs. They had vegetables. They had a huge salad bar, but they also had a bin of ice cream. And,
Sure.
once you pay for your meal, you just go into the cafeteria. You can eat whatever you want, as much as you want. So, of course, I got addicted to the ice cream. And my mom raised me really well. We had ice cream in the house, but it wasn't like this big thing. So I started not feeling that great. And I went home on a break and was eating all my mom's good food again. And I realized, oh, I feel better.
Mm.
And that really, it did something in me. I was like, okay, I know now that I need to eat healthier. I need to avoid that ice cream, all that sugar. So I went back to college with a renewed desire to really eat healthy. And they would overcook their vegetables because they used pressure cookers to cook all their vegetables. And my
Uh
mom never overcooked her vegetables. She just would cook them just done. It
So
was
they're, like,
so good.
cooked and crunchy at the same time. The
Yes.
al dente veggie, that's my favorite, yes.
So I didn't like their vegetables. So what I did was I would take a bowl from the salad bar, and they had peas on the salad bar. They had fresh broccoli on the salad bar. They had carrots. They had cauliflower. They had tons of vegetables on the salad bar. So I'd put a bunch of vegetables in my bowl, put a little butter on top, and take it over to the microwave and cook it until it was done. And I would eat a big bowl of vegetables with my lunch or my dinner. And people were like, "What are you doing?" They use the microwave to heat up their tea or something. I'm like,
Sure.
"I'm making vegetables." And they're like, and I got a couple other people to do it too.
So kids going to college, here's, grab yourself a bag of fresh cut veggies, from the store, raw veggies, put them in your micro or your fridge in your dorm, and then just throw them in a bowl with a little bit of butter, pop it in the microwave. There you go. There's a beautiful dinner for you.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Sherry. I appreciate you spending time with me and sharing your heart and getting to know you more. And I'm excited to see all that happens. When is your next course going to happen? Do you know yet? Do you have a date or
Well,
how can people?
I'm hoping sometime this September.
Okay.
Because it's 6 weeks and I like to get it in before Thanksgiving, obviously. So people can check it out on my website if they want to know the date or if they want to sign up in advance to hear about it. Um,
Okay. And I'll put all the links to connect with you and sign up and everything in the show notes.
Perfect.
So really make it really easy. Just click and meet
Yes.
Sherry and join your class. I love it.
Yeah, and I like to do it as a group. I mean, some people have a course you can just jump into anytime, but there's a whole community aspect to my course, which I think is really great for
Mhm.
kids to encourage each other and to show what to post pictures of what they're making and like if their favorite thing to drink or if they make the sauerkraut to post a picture if they make the salad. So I think it's really nice to have a group of people going through together because it really adds to the fun, it adds to the interaction, and kids can be encouraged by the other kids that are doing the same thing.
I think that's genius. Community aspect is a lot of fun. I think you're right. I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. So awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sherry.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. This has been really fun, and I'm really appreciative that you asked me to come on the show, and thank you.
Absolutely. My pleasure. If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who might need this too. Your comments and feedback mean the world. They help me grow and bring you more inspiring stories and tools for healthier living. Also, just a quick reminder before we wrap up. I'm not your doctor, and neither are any of my guests. So everything you hear on this podcast is for education and encouragement and inspiration only. Please don't take it as medical advice. Your health is personal, so always check in with your own trusted healthcare practitioner before making any changes. Stay curious, stay inspired, and take good care of yourself.